Hello there again. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Um, One of the things that, if you've been following the various kind of news coverage, various sources of news on this particular lockdown, is the fact that what I have here is being replicated all over. This is um, one of those examples of the thing that everyone apparently is now doing. Everyone's baking. Everyone's making bread or making scones or all kinds of things. Um, Wish you could smell them. Definitely worthwhile smelling. Rebecca made them. Thank you, Rebecca. Just we'll have our share in due course. The thing that struck me was, I think we're getting to the point now where this. I think the amount of flour that's being produced. I think there's been a 92% increase in the purchase of flour. So lots and lots of people are now, filling time with that particular activity. Now, Re- Rebecca assures me that they didn't rise as much as she had hoped because she put too much liquid in. It's great when you can share this because it makes it sound as if I know what I'm talking about, and I haven't a clue. Um, I tend to view the biblical passage that comes off the back of this for me is the one that people don't think of, which is the church is like the body. Some people are the hands, some people are the head, some people, sorry, Christ is the head, some people are the legs, everybody's got their own function in the overall process. So that applies to those scones because I see my role as different from Rebecca's. Rebecca makes them, and my role is I eat them. And I feel that's a very symbiotic relationship and it all fits together, like the body of Christ in that image in First Corinthians, which is clearly not the application. The thing that struck me was she did say that there was too much liquid in them and therefore they didn't rise. And obviously, there's a fairly famous passage in Matthew 13. I think it's in Luke 13 as well. The kingdom of heaven is, I'll just read it, I happen to have it here. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven from a woman, is like, the kingdom of heaven is like leaven that a woman took and hid, strange verb, hid in 3 measures of flour till it was all leavened. Leavened is yeast. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of things you could take from that particular parable. But the thing I just wanted to put in folks' minds was the simple fact that yeast is an incredibly small percentage of any thing that it's part of, if it's traditionally a loaf. It's very, very small. But the the chemical reactions involved are so powerful that it goes throughout the whole body of the dough. Um, Yeast, in that sense, the reactions we're talking about are microscopic reactions, very, very small. Now, I suppose in this particular era of lockdown, the fact that things are small, the coronavirus is microscopic and it's brought our society to its knees and the same all around the planet. So, microscopic isn't necessarily, things to throw stones at it because yeast, even though it's small, the analogy here is the same. Small things can have an immense impact. And that, I think, is the point of Christ's analogy with the leaven and the bread. As a percentage of the actual thing that you put into the oven to cook, it's not very big. But the influence the effect is complete, is total. The kingdom of heaven acts in people's lives, and it changes the heart first, and then it goes throughout the whole person's life. That's, I think, the analogy. Amidst all this newfound enthusiasm for baking and making bread and all of that kind of creativity, which people now have got into in a massive way, if sales of flour are anything to go by, and the shortage of it in the supermarket, just wanting to kind of bring back, I think, that essential point for us personally. What are the things where the gospel of Christ, where it took root in our life and has affected our life? Where are the parts where the leaven hasn't fully gone through the whole pile of dough yet? Where are the parts where the kingdom of heaven that we've accepted because we recognize the message of Jesus? Where are the parts of our lives where the leaven hasn't fully affected, where the gospel hasn't fully got to? What are the things right now, while we're still in lockdown, that you could focus on spiritually? Not the stuff that you're already good at. The stuff that you're not good at. The stuff that you know in your mind. That's the thing that God actually wants me to address. The things that make us feel that the issue, the aspect of our character, the element of our behaviour is just, it's so big. And it feels like the gospel is so small, or maybe specifically, our faith is so small. Whereas the whole point of the passage is leaven is minute. The chemical reactions that are taking place are minuscule. But as we see from the coronavirus, minuscule, microscopic reactions can ripple through the whole of a society, through the whole of the planet. What would it be if the outcome of this particular lockdown season was the thing that we cannot overcome, the thing that keeps on getting us down in terms of our walk with God? If that was the thing that at last the gospel dealt with, that Christ, by the power of his Spirit working in our lives, it was like the yeast working its way through the whole loaf. That would be a lockdown that was actually worth having. The other thing to bear in mind, the other thing to bear in mind is the scones are really good as well. So, if there are things that you need to do to help this along, like make scones or bake bread, just to help reinforce the point I'm making, well, clearly you can't send samples along, but I'm just saying it's worthwhile, because there'll be folks in your household that will be very thankful. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye. I'll get a row if I don't say it. Go with God, because I know God goes with you all through your life. Bye.